This building behind me is SEODAEMUN Prison. They started building this in 1907 and it was completed in 1908. It was used by the Japanese when they were in rule between 1910 to 1945. It was used all the way up until 1987, but these days it's just a museum to commemorate all the people who lost their lives here. In 1998 they opened it as a museum. So the Japanese would hold South Korean activists here using painful torture techniques, things like in the winter they'd leave the windows open so they'd be freezing, and in the summer they keep the windows shut. A lot of other things as well. I'm going to show you when we look around all the painful techniques they used. It was built for 500 people originally, but they had over 3,000 prisoners here. So yeah, we're going to take a look around. Here we have a map of the prison. Oh yeah, jeez. Staff. Oh Jesus. So these are the prison cells. These are where all the prisoners would be. This is inside one of the cells, very small. Let's see. So this is how they talk to the prisoners, through here. Inside. So the prisoners would communicate by tapping the walls, by doing secret messages, and they do anything then to try and distract the guards. So this by here.
Basically, the prisoner from inside the cell would push out the little wooden stick.
Yeah.
Like this. And then it'd alert the guard to an emergency inside the cell.
Right, okay. So basically then, instead of an emergency button, this was the emergency button pretty much. And it's called a paytong. A paytong. So this is how it works. So this is what it looked like from inside the prison cell. And then I'm going to show you what happened. So Gemma's going to press it. And that's how they'd alert them to an emergency. As you can see by here, missionaries from Ireland carried out pastoral activities at Catholic churches, and they were arrested by the Japanese, and it says by here they were imprisoned for more than 2 years. So these men. Yeah, so it says by here, Central and South American countries, including Cuba and Mexico, they helped fund the movement for independence in Korea. It's basically what it says by here. And then these are some of the liberation armies, so some of the South Korean activists. So the Korean woman had a really important role to play as well. They would try and keep the spirits high by doing things like spiritual devotions and just keeping everyone, you know, positive, and that there will be a unified Korea. So behind me we have prison cell 12. Now it's 3 solitary confinement rooms in here. I'm going to show you. So here's the door. So these are the solitary confinement rooms. As you can see, very small. Now they have 3 of these in total in this prison cell. Now this was horrendous for people because they wouldn't know whether it was day or night. They're trapped here, they couldn't go to the toilet. You know, they'd have to pretty much go by here. That's as best as it gets. They'd have painful torture techniques as well, and it was just horrible suffering. But yeah, these were the 3 solitary confinement rooms. So what happens? The guard would shut the door. And you just stuck in here. No whether it's day or night, can't go to the toilet. They're going to come in and do some painful torture techniques. techniques, absolutely horrific. But yeah, this is pretty much the room.
It's
Life, just in here.
to cause them to go mental.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It just
Think
made
you'd
people
go-
mental. It was mental torture as well as physical torture. People would go crazy on you. Yeah.
Think you'd go crazy in there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think anyone would go crazy. You know?
I agree.
If you're locked up here, you don't know what time it is. You're just in a dark hole pretty much, and like I said, horrible conditions, and you don't know whether they're going to come in and torture you physically, and all these things are going on in your head. It's just horrific. So with the surge in 1990 of activists, they decided to build an upper floor as well in the 1920s. So this floor by here, and the guards could keep watch over them with these skylights you can see on the top. So they could see through here, and that's got a skylight. And then you can see the second floor then, up here. But that's another thing of the mental torture as well. They'd always feel like they were being watched. So that'd make them go a bit crazy as well, because even when they weren't being watched, they felt like they were being watched. This is where the prisoners would write their letters. You see by here. So the prison cells were overcrowded, and this led to many deaths of the prisoners. Just poor conditions, no toilets or anything like that, so those are diseases. They die of things like frostbite in the winter as well. So this is a letter written by one of the prisoners. So if you were convicted, you'd wear a red uniform. If you were still awaiting trial and you hadn't been convicted, you'd wear the blue uniform. So there would be a governor, a deputy governor. There were 13 chief warders and then 261 warders in the prison. So SEODAEMUN prison was also the largest in the country as well, in regards to staff, prisoners, and just capacity. So it's getting heavy now. You can see it all behind me. Look at this, full of snow. So these are the windows of the solitary confinement rooms from the outside, and also the halls they'd use to go to the toilet. So these were some of the local possessions. That's cool though.
Yeah.
This building was a factory building built in 1923. So the workers would work 10 to 14 hours a day in the factories. They'd make textile and clothes, all of these type of things. There was 12 factories in total in the prison. And during the war as well, World War II, they're actually making war supplies as well then, so artillery and stuff like that. They'd also have inspections as well then, so they'd actually be forced to jump a wooden bar and nude just to make sure they weren't carrying any dangerous articles and stuff like that then. So you can see some pictures from the factories. Maybe the guards were there, these guys. And then they would be the workers. Yeah. More pictures. So this would have been the location of the first execution site in 1908. And they were done in privately as well, so they had it at the deepest part of the prison, which you can see over there. It's incredible, it looks so beautiful with all the snow, but we're at such a harrowing sight. You just wouldn't think, look at all this, it looks so lovely. But then all the atrocities that happened here is just unbearable, unthinkable.
This building is separate from the other buildings because they took special, tricky criminals because they needed extra surveillance and control. And around the building you see bullet holes where they executed someone.
So this is a memorial for the Patriots. There's 165 martyrs' names in here inscribed. I think you can see them. Yeah, you can see them right here. So there's 165 in total. So this was the original exercise facility for the prisoners. It was abolished in 1945. We're heading now to the execution building. So they believe this was built in 1921. The first floor was used for hanging prisoners, and then the basement floor then is where they collected the bodies. So this is one of the execution rooms. So you can actually see the rope where they'd hang people. So then you can't enter, but down here is where the bodies are being collected. So this is a secret passageway. They'd use this to transport the dead bodies. So when they tortured them and they've gone too far, there's too many marks and beatings on them. They didn't want people finding out, so they'd use this secret passageway, which I think is around about 200 meters long. So you can see it here. So this is the exercise hall the prisoners would use. They were made like this so they couldn't communicate with each other and speak to each other. So you can see, I'll show you to the camera. You can see each one is blocked from seeing the other, and this long corridor then is where they do their exercises. And then you'd have the guard on top by here then watching and making sure no one's doing anything they shouldn't be doing. So this is the woman's cell building block. This is what our cell will look like, obviously. The woman's prison block was built in 1918. So prison cell number 8 was an important one because that's where a lot of the independence leaders were incarcerated. And that was around about 1919. Some of the prisoners. Socks on the left and traditional green shoes on the right. So the prison had 6 watchtowers in total.
See like a fan?
Yeah. This was one of the chairs in the watchtowers. Must miss that part. No handcuffs. The bodies are done by here, look. And then 100.
한두대 위에 올라 오히려 봄바람이 가고 잠시 강우 한두대 위에 올랐으니 오히려 봄바람이 가고 꿈은 있으나 나라가 없으니 어찌 감회가 없어.
So these are some of the torture methods used. You can see the prisoners believing they're gonna be drowned. So this is the interrogation room. So one of the most painful torture techniques they used, they got like a sharp needle, like a sharp skewer, and they pierced it in the fingernail of the prisoner. You can see by here. So something like this have been used. These are shackles.
이렇게 이곳 서대문 총무소에서 4년 6개월이라는 세월을
So they put the prisoner inside of this box. Like this, full of sharp nails. And then they would shake. They'd shake it. So look at this. Really confined space. And it's sharp nails, spikes on each side. You can see if you bring the camera closer. You can see the spikes on each side.
Yeah.
And then they would shake this. And yeah, it's horrific. This is called the box of torture. This would be a solitary underground confinement, so people who are placed here temporarily before being moved to the main jail. So this is the narrow torture room. Basically, it was so narrow, it was hard for people to actually stand upright. Look, I can't even actually fit in this. This is what it'd be like. So you couldn't stand up. Just think of on your knees, the pressure on your knees by here. I can feel it already, and I've been in here for like 3 seconds.
Close the door.
And the door shuts in.
How bad is that?
길게 해주세요.